Hi, everybody. We are here at the Contento Cafe in Salt Lake City with Lauren Bell, who is the owner and founder of this amazing Mexican organic restaurant. I'm Patty Reese with the Wellness Crusaders, and Lori's also here as well. And we're going to chat with Lauren about how he started and why you want to come and eat here, for sure. Lori, do you want to take the first question?
Sure, let's go. Lauren, it's a pleasure that we get to interview you. And not even a pleasure, just an honor. Because I have to tell you, I have never in my lifetime found an organic, gluten-free Mexican restaurant. And I was super excited when your friend, Omar from Rawtopia, told me about this place. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the first question I have for you is really on the origin of your story. So what inspired you to create Contento Cafe, and what was the journey like from the concept to day one of your grand opening?
Wow, that's a huge question.
Yes.
Well, thanks for coming in and spending time with me today and supporting this restaurant. I really appreciate it. Well, the grand vision was really just, I really wanted to create a space. That was the first thing. I like ambiance, and I feel like restaurants can really lack a lot of things around that. I think it's really important to have, good music, the right temperature, the right kind of food, the right smells. It's hard to marry everything in a restaurant with good service and good food, and that's what I'm trying to do here. So my vision was trying to create a really cool place to eat. I feel like all my life I've really enjoyed going to restaurants and seeing their offering, seeing how they create the experience of going out and eating. And so that was kind of how that worked. And then I started this concept because I've always just had a dream of having my own restaurant. And especially here in Utah, where we kind of lack in the healthy food sector, and sometimes even in the creative food, and having different types of options of food, different cultures that represent their food in a good way. I just feel like this city is really lacked in that environment of that.
I have to agree with you, for sure. How was day one of your grand opening? You had to be so excited.
Yeah, it was an exciting day. It was a lot. I finished landscaping the front of the restaurant like 5 minutes before, and then ran in the back and took a shower in the hose and ran inside and started the work. We did $3,000 on our first day because it happened to be Cinco de Mayo, and it was the Mural Fest. So the neighborhood was hopping. It was a fun day.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Patty, I have a question for you, because you've known Lauren for a long time. How soon after he opened, because how long has your restaurant been open?
8 months now.
So how soon after Lauren opened Contento Cafe did you find this place?
I probably have to say within a month. First of all, it's really, as you said too, and we know, it's hard to find a restaurant that's clean, organic, and has this ambiance. And so once I came here, and I'm sorry I didn't let you know about it. I didn't let you know about it, but I was like, oh my goodness, we have this restaurant here. And so for me to go out and eat, at a clean restaurant is really a treat.
Right.
So it was probably about a month after. Yeah,
Wow.
and that was it. And I can't wait to order, actually, when we finish this interview.
Well, I see your delicious cookies sitting behind me, so
yes,
I'm
that's
equally excited about that. So the next question is going to be geared on organic and sustainable practices. So as a restaurant owner, why is it important for Contento Cafe to focus on organic ingredients, and how do you ensure sustainability in your operations?
Good question. Well, first off, I'd have to say it's just really important because I think it's important for our culture and for our long-term, our longevity as human beings on this planet to eat healthier. We've noticed that healthy food and options for nutrition coincide with consciousness and people becoming more conscious in their life and more able to focus on being creative, on art, on music, on healthier aspects of involving yourself around our environments. And then on top of that, it's also really, it's environmentally more sound and sustainable to serve healthy food. we want to work on our sustainability a lot more as time goes by. It'd be nice someday to have land to be able to recycle a lot of our waste, which is really hard to do without animals and land currently.
Right.
But we would like to move more towards that direction and growing a lot of our own produce and plant a small orchard and have some of our own animals eventually
Oh, wow.
to create that.
Okay.
And then I feel like ultimately it'd be nice to have land to support, 5 restaurants that all buy into that.
Right.
And it supports 5 restaurants where we all work together as
Right.
a co-op on this land.
And we're going to talk about that towards the end of this whole MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, this movement. The next question is on health challenges. So did you or any member of your family at some point have any health challenges that led you down the path of eating organic?
I didn't have that experience. I just, as a young kid, when I was 18, I read a book called Diet for New Americans.
Oh, yeah.
It was old.
It's an old book.
It's
It's
an
a
old
good
book.
one.
It was written by the heiress to the Ben and Jerry's dynasty. And he was just
yes.
observing his family. So I was young enough then that I read that book and quit eating the way I was eating. And started from that point, which was right out of high school pretty much. None of my friends did. At that time, not very many people were even trying to eat healthy, so it was a little different back then. But I also had the experience back then, before it became taboo or illegal or difficult to go and tour all the farms. So I went out, and I couldn't believe it. And I went out and visited the pork farms, the cattle farms, the feedlots, poultry farms. I went out and saw it firsthand. And then over time, I watched them slowly become ashamed of it and try to hide it. I don't know if you guys remember the Miller's processing plant down in Draper,
I don't.
right off the freeway. Anyways, forever it was just wide open, but as time went by, they started putting tractor trailers around it and huge hay bales to conceal how awful it was, how dirty and how gross it was. So anyways, I got to see that, and I feel like if more people could see that firsthand, they might be more conscious and choosy about the sources of their food.
Right.
Absolutely.
All right, Patty, take
Yeah.
it away.
So I wanted to ask this one about what advice would you give someone looking to incorporate more organic food when they're eating out? Now we're here at your restaurant, right? So we know what we're getting. But what is the impact of like people going out? Because people are eating out a lot. And of course, being a home chef, I want people to get into their kitchens, but the fact is people are still eating out a lot. So what advice would you give someone? I mean, obviously you have this restaurant here and we know Rawtopia, but anything else that you might recommend to people who are going out to eat?
Yeah, I would just say to be really gentle with yourself
Okay.
and trying to make that transition, because it can be really hard and confusing.
Yeah.
It's really confusing, all the different labeling and definitions of those labels, and just trying to figure out what works for you and what doesn't. You gotta just take it slow and take it gentle. If you can, hire someone to help you make that transition to healthier food.
Yeah. I liked what you said about the consciousness, like people waking up more. And really what I'm also going to add to that is because you're serving people protein and clean food, their brain is turning back on. Because when people are eating good protein and they're eating, organic grains and they're eating good fats, their brain's actually going, wow, I feel good. I'm going to go back to Contento and have more,
Right.
so
Yep.
I like that.
Well, it's interesting because you can put anything in your body that you want and it makes blood, no matter what you put in. You can put ice cream in, candy, sugar, all the trashy stuff, and you're going to get blood.
Right.
Or you can put in really healthy stuff, good phyto greens, meats, dairy if you can handle dairy. You can eat all this good food and it makes blood.
Right.
So it's just a really simple
So what
process.
kind of blood do you have?
Yeah, what kind of blood do you want?
I like
Yeah.
that.
And you're a big fan of the, what is it?
Blood
that
type.
Blood type diet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
it is. I mean, our blood is really our marker of our health because it all turns back into blood, whatever we're eating.
Yeah,
So
and it's the source of life. I mean, we don't have blood, we're out.
we're out. We're out.
down.
No
We're
blood,
down
we're
for the
out.
count.
On the wrong side of the grass. I have the next question.
Okay.
And then I'll let you continue. So, what do you hope that your customers take away from their experience at Contento Cafe beyond just enjoying the food that you serve here?
Yeah. Well, when I was creating this place, I really wanted to create a a place where people can truly just come and relax and eat food and not worry about everything. It's a lot harder to pull off than I thought. Training servers, getting the food right, and just intersecting with people around kind of a sensitive life activity, eating food. Everyone has different taste buds. Everyone has different temperature gauges in their mouth. It's hot, it's cold, it's too sweet, it's sweet enough. I mean, it's a difficult challenge to try to help everyone have a good experience here, but that is really my goal, and all of us. We have endless meetings and chats and text messages and phone calls about trying to improve and always make the experience here better for people.
I love that. I love also just your energy, Lauren, too, because you've got that real kind of like gentle, connected energy about food and about people coming together, which is part of this restaurant too. It's not just, it's the food and then people gathering together. So this last question that I would like to ask you is, what advice would you give to public schools on how to clean up the food they're serving to our children? So that's something that hits my heart, and I'm sure it does with your children as well too. Like, how do we get this movement that you're doing here out more to, like, especially the school systems? Do you have any thoughts on that as a restaurant owner?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because I have an 8-year-old and a 15-year-old. So my 15-year-old or my 8-year-old, I can make lunch for him and he'll eat it, right? So he doesn't do that. But I always ask him, I say, what do your friends think? He's the only one that has this type of food. And sometimes he literally asks me not to make that or put that as lunch because his friends will make fun of it. They haven't seen food like that, and it's really interesting and sad that they're not getting it. And so a lot of times they like his food and want to eat his food because I think they notice or can taste the difference, you know. And so he's always sharing his food at school if they're not making fun of him about something else I put in there, like hell chips or raw salmon, you know. Or
Oh my God! I have to make a comment on that. So my granddaughter, who is 7, she goes to a charter school in Charleston, Utah, and she loves to eat the seaweed wraps with sardines and goat cheese, and she doesn't care. And one day she came home and she's like, Nona, she goes, they're making fun of me because when I open it up, it smells. She goes, but I got to tell you, I love it. So then I started just putting it on like a siete wrap and then melting the cheese and putting it on there, which was a little bit better. But every time that she goes to school and she spends the night at her house, she's like, oh, I'll take the goat cheese and the sardine wrap.
Oh,
so
that's
I totally get that. You know, the next question for you, Lauren, is you have so many dishes. I mean, I gotta tell you, I discovered this place 2 months ago when, you know, from Omar at Rawtopia, and I probably have eaten here a dozen times. So, and there's a lot of really great dishes. But what dish in particular or feature at your restaurant do you think best represents your vision and why?
what dish?
Yes.
What dish would represent that vision? What dish? Well, first of all, I set out to try to make every dish craveable. Like, we did a lot of R&D on our dishes and trying to make sure that they were prepared right and that they taste good and look good. It's a lot to marry all that.
Yeah.
My favorite dish that I've had to fight to keep on the menu is really the nachos. I just love nachos.
Yeah, I do too.
And it really sucks because a lot of restaurants that are Mexican you go to, it's too generic, it's too played out, it's too predictable to have nachos on your Mexican recipe, you know, so they don't do it anymore. And if they do it not good. They don't do it right. And so that's one thing that I just really like on our menu. I just love a good nacho. There's just nothing like nachos to me, so.
Great.
I agree with that. Well, I was going to say that was my first, the first thing I bought here and I ate here was the nachos. And they are absolutely delicious. I also love the salmon tacos and the chicken tacos and the enchiladas. I think pretty much everything is pretty
I feel like it's all really
fantastic.
good. And like our specials, I feel like our taquitos and tostadas and the pozole, and now the chicken mole, it's all so good. It really is.
What is your special today?
Those have been the specials for a while.
Okay,
Four
it's taquito.
of them.
Okay.
Taquitos,
I might have to get one
tostadas,
of those. I don't think I've gotten
pozole,
one of those.
and the mole.
Yeah, he's getting hungry.
I'm getting super
Yeah.
hungry.
Yeah. Do you have another question?
Nope, that's it. I want to eat now.
I think we need to eat, and that would be my last thing. And thank
All
you
right,
so
well,
much,
I've got
Lauren.
a couple more questions.
Okay.
I would really like to get into talking about MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, and the health impacts. So, as a restaurant owner of an organic, gluten-free Mexican restaurant, we all know that MAHA promotes mental awareness as well as eating whole foods that don't contain the harmful chemicals that can lead to ill health as well as ill mental health. How do you see these values, your values, with this restaurant aligning with the restaurant on what the MAHA means as far as making America healthy again?
So I think a really effective and strong way to contribute to that is create industries or products that have that in mind. Because we don't want, like, we're all, like, we have a microbiome in our gut, right? We have a microbiome in our skin. Our planet's a microbiome, and in a way, we're the parasites on the microbiome of this planet. And so when we interact the way we do currently, it just creates a lot of problems. So I feel like, eliminating and sending out a message to those who profit from these things, because it's all about profit, that we don't want these chemicals on our food anymore. It kills our microbiome.
Right.
It also disrupts us as a microbiome on this planet, and then we end up being like cells that aren't communicating with each other. We don't communicate anymore.
Right.
We're a bunch of parasites kind of running around this planet right now, not communicating. And so I think one of the best ways to do that is how we interact with our planet. And the best way we interact with our planet is we eat from it.
Absolutely.
Right.
So we got to clean up that source of how we eat. So hopefully this restaurant sends a signal to other people that you can do this too and be successful. Like after 7-8 months, we have been wildly successful with a very experimental concept that has not been done here successfully in Utah. And so I really hope that other people can see that and start to create like products and businesses that really want to give back and contribute and change the way we interact with our food and our planet.
Right. And I think with the MAHA movement, what my hope is that we will see more restaurants at least go towards gluten-free, if not some gluten-free organic options. I visit a lot of restaurants when I'm driving around, America, and just stopping at a restaurant, looking at the menu, because my husband's hungry at the time. There are many, many, many times I will go in, look at a menu, and I will see that there's nothing gluten-free, nothing organic. Then what we'll do is, my husband's not always, happy with me because he's starving. But we'll get up and leave. We leave a couple bucks just because they placed water, and then we'll continue on our journey to find something else. It's so hard if somebody has to be gluten-free or choose to be gluten-free, like you and I, as well as being organic, because we don't want the herbicides and the pesticides and all of that chemical, toxicity that I view as chemical rape in our body, because that's exactly what is happening. So I'm hoping that MAHA movement is going to help there. And one of the other things that I'm super excited about, I want to just share this with you, we talked about it a little bit, is RFK, who we know had an addiction problem. He is now looking at putting the people into recovery and having them work on the farms. So Patty and Lauren, how would you feel, because you mentioned farms, Lauren, how would you feel if you could have a farm? Maybe it's a community farm with you and Omar and other organic restaurants that are out there. Would you be interested in trying to support that? Because in one of the reasons that Patty, we're really passionate about it, we know that if you're not feeding the brain, that it's going to lead to relapse. No protein food, no amino acids. They eat crap food, bagels and sugar and, tons of coffee.
And a lot of soda.
Yeah.
There's so much soda.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Rehabs.
So how do you feel about it? And Patty, I'd like for you to chime in, because I know you're super excited that we were just talking about this with RFK.
About the healing farms?
Yes.
I think he called them healing farms. Did you hear about that? Okay, so I think you actually sent me the email or something that said he's looking to open up healing farms meaning that people will be on they'll have a farm setting where the food is clean and they're getting fed and being part of working on the farm as well, which is like fantastic, because what I know, and a lot of the people in the addiction recovery world and also in the mental health world too, anxiety, depression,
ADD, which is on,
ADD,
you know,
yeah,
on the
is that
rise.
the brain's not just being fed because they're not eating real food. They're not eating protein. They're not eating good fats. It's mostly processed foods. And then, you know, generally they're being moved right into some kind of a medication, you know, which for some is okay, but most people can repair their brain with food. So I think it's an awesome concept. What we know is like 85% of the treatment centers out there that are treating not only just addiction, but also emotional, you know, mental health, depression,
Right.
are not feeding their brain. They're doing great social psychology, you know, connections and things like
Right.
that. So
Right.
I think it's exciting. Oh, no, you don't need that one.
So, you know, Lauren, I want to leave you with what would you like to tell the audience if they've never eaten here before? What would you like to tell them? The reasons why, but have the last word on that.
Okay. I really appreciate everyone that's supported us so far. We're super grateful for everyone that's come here. And especially for those that have been patient with like the growing pains. We're 8 months into this. It's quite the undertaking to do when you've never run a restaurant, so I really appreciate that. The takeaway I would say is to come in and try the food. Come in and try what we have to offer and help contribute to it. If you come in with a bad attitude or you're looking for everything to be perfect, it's not going to be. It's just not a perfect scenario. There's literally 1,000 things every day that have to take place to get that food on the plate. And if one of those things has a hiccup, it's not right, it's not perfect, it's not warm, it's missing an ingredient, distributor didn't show up, or whatever. Someone wasn't here today to help prep that. Things just every day are different and challenging and change. So I would have to say that I think that people coming in and helping contribute to this experience as a community, and it's something we need to have work out and be successful with.
What's your favorite meal on the menu?
The nachos.
Then
The
I
nachos.
love the nachos.
So that's what I
Oh
was.
my gosh.
So I'm gonna order the nachos right now and also the salmon tacos.
Both.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yes.
have both.
And then we really love, we all really love the art of coffee here. So we're always
Oh my
trying
gosh.
to just make better coffee, cleaner coffee. And then right now we're working on a elixir bar. So we're
Nice.
going to offer all these type of like aphrodisiac and heart opening and these
Wow.
high-end
Some
like
of the herbs.
adaptogenic drinks.
Yeah, adapto- I love it.
So
Oh my
people don't want
gosh.
caffeine, then we have these other drinks that are really good. We've made
Yeah.
a few so far and they're really good.
Wonderful.
I'm interested
Oh,
in
I'm
that,
interested
only
in that.
because sometimes we get here at like 4 o'clock and I really don't want a coffee, but the
Yeah.
the peppermint mocha here is the bomb. So I even had one when I came in here. I was like willing to take the risk of not being able to go to bed till midnight. Anyway, Lauren, thank you. Patty, thank you.
Lauren.
Yeah, thank you guys.
We look forward to we look
you.
forward to our what we're going to be eating today. So everyone from the Wellness Crusaders, thank you for joining us this evening. Jessica, we missed you this evening. Patty, thank you so much. I love you so much. But good night for now.